Sony's strategy with PC ports, if you can really call it a strategy, has been extremely strange and, dare I say, adorably clueless. They started out strong with the ports of God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn and later Spider-Man, and there were even some surprise hits in there like Days Gone and Death Stranding, both of which had kind of ho-hum reception on the PlayStation, but then found new life on the PC for one reason or another. Death Stranding I get, Days Gone, I'm still scratching my head at what so many people see in that game. But Sony's first-party PC strategy was working good for the first few years, but over the last couple years, Sony has seemingly looked at what got them here and said to themselves, great, time to keep the ball rolling, and then proceeded to replace the ball with a guy in a ball costume who they just throw down a flight of stairs every 3 to 4 months. Sony's PC endeavors started out really strong, and it seemed like they were actually taking it seriously. I remember the hype leading up to the God of War launch and the Horizon Zero Dawn launch and even the Days Gone launch, really. There was a lot of social media hype, there was a lot of push. The games did not launch for full price, although that was another big factor. And it really seemed like Sony was on to something, but ever since then, they've almost gone out of their way to reverse the goodwill that PC gamers have had towards them up to this point. Because up to, about a year and a half-ish ago, Sony had a pretty good reputation with PC gamers. The ports were consistently solid, the pricing was, a bit high, but still, on the high end of still being fair. But then they just completely 180, and it's like they have no idea what they're doing anymore on the PC. You port Uncharted 4 before any of the other Naughty Dog games. You port Sackboy at all. Sackboy's a good game, but why make it make sense why that game was at near the top of the PC port priority list? That will never make sense to me. Meanwhile, you're completely ignoring the gigantic Soulsborne community on the PC, which is why, despite games like Remnant 2 being one of the top sellers on Steam of the entire year, and a little indie game that you may not have heard of called Elden Ring, which sold 10 million copies on PC in a week, and yet we're still waiting on Bloodborne and Demon's Souls. And also there's just the really obvious strategy flaw of not releasing games day and date on PC, because when you wait a year plus to release a game on PC, and also especially when you barely market the thing, that's another problem. They just stopped marketing PC ports for some reason. I'm old enough to remember when God of War's PC port and Spider-Man's PC ports were getting really big marketing pushes, but fucking, just fuck me, I guess. Because according to modern Sony, only Naughty Dog is worthy of PC port hype, and we all know how Naughty Dog's PC port hype went. If you're not gonna release games day and date, you have to then understand that you're marketing the games and you're selling the games to an audience of people who probably already had the game spoiled for them and are not going to want to pay full price for a game that they've been hearing about for a year plus at that point. Again, Sony didn't used to do this. All of their PC ports were $40 to $50 up until around Uncharted 4's PC port. Then they decided to make everything $60 all the time, no matter what. I'll never get over this. It's like God of War, $50. Spider-Man, $50. Sackboy, gotta need an extra tenner for that one. That's some extra quality, but boy, pay up, fucker. Sony obviously has a big success strategy on their hands. Sony knows that they can succeed on the PC, but they are so adorably clueless of how to navigate the PC market that October 14th, it was starting to spread around Twitter that PlayStation is actually looking for a PC planning analyst. The job description reads that the new hire will be doing PC forecasting and performance reporting and presentations, growth analysis, ad hoc analysis, market insights. So aside from being further evidence that Sony is still taking the PC seriously and they're not walking away from the platform anytime soon, much to the dismay of the fanboys, but it's also at least a little bit reassuring that Sony is doing their usual strategy of just throwing money at things instead of actually analyzing the problem. I love this. You could ask any PC gamer in the country, in the world, what Sony needs to do better in order to succeed on PC, and they would all say the same things. Go day and date, port the games that PC gamers actually want, and if you insist on a delayed PC launch over the console launch, do not launch it for full price. You ask any PC gamer in the world what PlayStation needs to do in order to succeed on PC, and they would say some, if not all, of those three things. But Sony, as I said, is the kind of company that doesn't really like to do a lot of analysis on their own. They'd rather just throw money at things, and now they're gonna pay somebody 6 figures to tell them what anybody on Twitter could have told them in 2 seconds for free, but Fucking get that bread. Whoever gets this job, dude, you got it, bro. We're counting on you. But this tweet started going around that PlayStation is looking for a PC planning analyst, and unsurprisingly, it upset some people. I'll never understand why people are still mad about the PlayStation brand expanding into the PC, because like if you like these games, then you shouldn't really have a problem. Well, first of all, you shouldn't have any problem with them being properly preserved for future generations of gaming, because obviously the PS5 is not always going to be operable. Every PS5, every PS4 game is not always going to be operable on PlayStation hardware, so why wouldn't you want the game preserved on the PC? But then there's the bigger thing of just these games are exclusive, and if you are a diehard Sony guy, if you're a big Sony guy, you probably are obsessed with exclusives because that's really all they got at this point. And if you disagree with me on that point, then let me ask you a question. If not for exclusive games, what does PlayStation give you that isn't on other platforms? Or better yet, aside from exclusive games, what does PlayStation do better than other platforms? I will fucking wait. Getting rid of exclusives means the platforms have to compete better as platforms, and that is good for all gamers. And also there's just the obvious anti-consumer aspect of holding pieces of art hostage just only for certain plastic boxes that just so happen to also be the plastic box made by the company holding the piece of art hostage. It's dumb. Exclusives are dumb. It's good that Sony is walking away from them, but this tweet that they were looking for a PC planning analyst got a lot of negative attention from the Sony fanboys, and we're going to laugh at them. Because at this point, fucking just give it up. Like, it's over. You lost. At ZerPS5 says, never coming to PC day one, and then has a highlighted piece of what I think is a blog post. It says both performance and fidelity modes feature ray tracing in Marvel Spider-Man 2. Yeah, that's a problem, actually. Ray tracing being permanently enabled in Spider-Man 2 is a problem, because you know what it makes the game look like? This. In performance mode. The optimization of Spider-Man 2 is actually pretty impressive everywhere but performance mode. Performance mode just does not look good in motion. And I absolutely believe it's because the ray tracing is force enabled. You can't turn off ray tracing even if you're in performance mode. But also, I love how you highlight this. You say, thanks to the title launching exclusively on PS5. How is this evidence that games are never coming to PC day one? This is one game. Like, yeah, we know Spider-Man 2 is not coming to PC day one. We could have told you that already. We're talking about the future. Obviously, when people say that Sony should be putting games on PC day and date, they don't mean that Sony should go back in time and try to do that for all of the games that have already come out. That's fucking dumb. At Lohipuiko. Yeah, we're going with that. Lohipuiko says, we all know the answer. Day one PC. Pac-Man responds, never. Lohipuiko says, not saying it will happen soon, but it will eventually. Pac-Man says, not a chance. They make $27 billion in revenue annually from... Why am I doing that? I thought I was impersonating the specific character, and now I have no clue what the fuck I was even doing there. This is why I script videos now. Not a chance. They make $27 billion in revenue annually from PlayStation consoles and software, etc. Not willing to sacrifice that for a paltry few million. I don't get this. See, this is so stupid. They make $27 billion in revenue annually from PlayStation consoles and software. Well, if they put the software on other pieces of hardware, they would just increase that number out of the gate. So, question mark. But also, you seem to think that putting the games on PC, you seem to think that's going to sacrifice revenue of PlayStation consoles. Like, you use the word sacrifice. Aside from that just not really being the case, because as everyone has pointed out already, the PC doesn't really compete with the PlayStation. The PlayStation has not convinced PC gamers to convert, and Sony is realizing now that you probably never will convince PC gamers to convert to PlayStation if you haven't gotten them already. So putting the game on the PC does not really sacrifice anything, but that's also glossing over the fact that if you think putting the software on a different piece of hardware, that now inherently means the console sales will take a big hit, gee whiz, you might have figured out the problem with PlayStation. Pac-Man was on a roll in this thread. In this response, he says, fuck PC gaming. These PC ports need to stop. Yes, Sony's going to walk away from this money. This is the kind of money that they're generating by just putting cheap ports on PC, because the ports are nowhere near the same kind of budget as the actual PS5 version. Porting the game is way cheaper than developing a new one, and this is the kind of money they're getting back. They've been generating ridiculous revenue from PC ports. Even the ones that don't sell well, they generate a lot of revenue. And their console sales are still looking nice. They have been looking nice since before we've been in this position, so it's like, I don't get the idea. Like, oh, PC ports are stopping people from buying PlayStations, but also woohoo, look at all the PlayStations we've sold. It's fucking pick a side. But yeah, Pac-Man is upsetty, and I think we should get him some spaghetti. Tim Dog PlayStation fan says, is not day one cope. And this is in response to Sony hiring a new PC strategist. Who's coping here? Like, who? Is it PC Focus? Are they coping? Is Sony coping? Because they're spending six figures on a PC analyst? Oh my god, I hate this so much. Monk PlayStation says, fuck off with this. We need them to focus on new IP for the console, not wasting devs on PC ports that sell 100k. Again, reminder of how much fucking money Sony is making on the PC, and if you want them to sell more than 100k, then maybe they should be putting more resources towards it. We can't waste devs on PC ports that sell 100k? Great, then give them more devs. You fucking banana head. Sony trying to figure out how to make another movie game. Sony trying to figure out how to grow an audience. At this point, there's actually no reason to make a PS6. Yes, Alex, you goofy goober, that's why this is a good thing. If they stop obsessing over holding games hostage, they will have to make the platform better. That's gonna be... Oh my god. Oh, it makes me chuckle that people are still mad about this. It makes me chuckle that people still somehow muster up the strength and the fucking brain power to still be mad about this. It's early. I'm gonna go make coffee now and drink it with my mouth. So, toodles.